What's good, everybody? It's Big Game James, man. We back in the building. You know, it's Sunday. It's right before playoffs. You know them Cowboys, right? We about to do the daggone thing this year. But before we jump into the Cowboys thing, you know that's going on. We love our high school interviews, and I got another big dog who we started out at the beginning of the season, hailing out of Louisville, Kentucky. Goes out to Louisville Mel, which is one of the top high school football winning program out there. And this guy here has been a leader behind it. Kolter Smith, how you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, man. It's good to see you again. Like I said,
Good
before
to
we
see you
hit the
too.
air, you always working, you always putting in that trade, and you had a
Mhm.
phenomenal season. You guys had a phenomenal year. I mean, I remember watching that one game. We're gonna talk about that game because that game was crazy. When I seen that fumble, and you guys won that game. But that just the road to that is just crazy. How we talked at the beginning of the season and how the whole season happened. But let's jump right into it, man. So first, junior season, we're gonna talk about it. Didn't end the way that you liked, obviously, but you guys played in the state championship game. But tell me, what did you really learn about yourself going into this junior season and then going through the season? What did you learn about yourself and the team in this whole year?
I think the biggest thing that I think just anybody who watched our season learned was like it's not really about how you start; it's all about how you finish.
Hmm.
But for me personally, I think the biggest thing that I learned was to really hone in on the little things, because a lot of those little things that go into building a state championship team get overlooked. It's
Right.
not always about like the talent or the scheme that you put together. It's about the
Hmm.
execution part. And I feel like at times we didn't really have that. So what really went in for me this year that I learned was all the little things that I think go overlooked by everybody else who's just kind of watching the game, to
Hmm.
really hone in on those and perfect those, which will help us get back there and hopefully win it this year.
And, hey, like I said, you guys had an improbable run, man. You got it was crazy. Now let's talk about one game in particular. It looked like it was over. It looked like you guys were going home. They were on the 1 yard line. Talk about that little. I mean, talk about what game it was. Like it was the semifinals to go to. Talk about just that game to me, period. Because I want everybody to kind of know about this. Because I'm going to show it on my YouTube too. Because I want everybody to see that.
Okay, so it was the semifinal game to go to the state championship. It was against Ballard, who had beaten us early on in the season. So, at that point, we were at our lick back tour, trying to
Right.
we were getting our look back on everybody who had beaten us at first. So
Right.
we just beat St. X, which was the number one team in the state.
Uh
So
huh.
we were coming in hot to play Ballard, and personally, I think that they kind of robbed us on the last drive because
Hmm.
we put the ball was in the end zone and they didn't call it. So it was one of those ball don't lie moments.
Right. Right.
But when we drove the ball all the way down in the final seconds of the game, and we reached over the pylon, they didn't say they said we didn't score. So then they got up. They got up to. I thought they were just going to take the safety and make it a 1 point game, and then they would just kick the ball off and pray that we don't score. But
Hmm.
then you see the guy go under center to go for, and the thing that I didn't understand. So early on in the game, they did under center at least 3 or 4 times, and they fumbled at least twice on it. So I was like, that's a little scary. But
Right.
they put it. They got in there. They did it, and you don't really see anything. You just see like everybody like a huge pile, and you're like, okay, well maybe they do get a safety. He doesn't get out of the R line, and then you just see Corey grab the ball and run it in, and that was like, wait a minute, no way.
I know.
Everybody's just going crazy at that point.
I seen
But
the
yeah,
video. They had this one kid. He was like, "No way." He was like, "Did this just happen?" I looked at it like,
it was just one of those surreal moments that you'd never like write it. You'd never write it up. It's just one of those like God was with us on that one.
"Yeah, for real." So did that? Because I know they had like Kentucky like plays of the year in high school. Did that get nominated as like one of the
I,
plays of the
I
year?
mean, I think it did. And then, it was all over Max Preps and like it was just all over the internet. Anywhere you looked, it was like Male's game winning play against Ballard, which was crazy because we did it 2 weeks in a row actually. We did the
Really?
game winner against St. X, and then the following week we played Ballard and we had a game winner too. It was just like and the one against St. X, I mean, if you watch that one, I personally think it was a little more crazy,
Uh huh.
just because like I mean the feelings of that one, because one it was the number one team in the state, so when
Right.
we went,
Right.
everybody was like, there's no way Mel's going to beat them. But when we got in there and then we was all the way in overtime, we'd elected to go for two, and then all you see was we ran like a little sweep play, And then Max sheds the block, and we tossed it in the end zone. He caught it, and just everything went wild. So I thought the St. X one was a little cooler than the Ballard one, but the Ballard one is just like, it was like a miracle.
That's just crazy. How do you have that in one season? You know what I'm saying? Like that is crazy.
Something
It's
was on
just
our side.
something was just it's just tough that it ended without you guys getting the state championship. But to have that kind of run is still an awesome and great thing. You guys, like you said, you learn about a lot about yourself, your team, coaches, everything. You learn a lot during that year, and you can take a lot going into your senior season. So that's exciting in itself. So we're gonna kind of segue into something. So we're going to talk about some things me and you talked about personally about what you wanted to work on. You were talking about good ball placement, minimizing turnovers, also classroom, film study, things of those nature. How do you feel like you really did in those areas this past season? And another question beyond that, with your season coming in, what are some of your goals personally that you like to kind of hone in on as you start your senior season?
So for my junior season, I think I did a really good job of minimizing turnovers on my standpoint, and
Mm-hmm.
ball placement, accuracy, like everything that I said, I'm still continuing to improve on. But for the
Mm-hmm.
most part, I think I did a really good job of. The
Mm-hmm.
one thing I think I improved the most on this year was our film study, and I mean, it was just because this year in general, I was watching film like every day. Like we'd
Mm-hmm.
have our offensive meetings and during the week, and
Mm-hmm.
then we'd play Friday. Then we'd have a meeting on Saturday. We'd take
Mm-hmm.
Sunday off, come in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We'd have our offensive meetings. I'd be in the middle of class watching huddle films, making annotations on it, just like anything. So I mean, I think it was very beneficial for me because if you don't know, film is like one of the biggest things,
Mm-hmm.
especially for a quarterback, because it's just
Mm-hmm.
for me to have it and just continue to watch it. It makes the game kind of just slow down, which is
Exactly.
really, really beneficial for me. So I think
Yeah.
that's what I improved the most on.
Mm-hmm.
For this upcoming season, I'm really working right now on putting size on, which I'm doing a pretty good job of. For the new year, I was 180. I'm
Mm-hmm.
up to about 190 right now. So I'm trying to get into like the 195, 200 range, but I'm trying to keep it clean, obviously.
Right. Right.
But I think I want to work more on, I think my arm strength right now is where it needs to be. Obviously, there's always ways to improve it. So I never want to let that lack and let that like not be where it's supposed to be. But
Mm-hmm.
I think right now for me, it's working on footwork,
Mm-hmm.
mobility, and then just like my leadership role with the team. Now that we're coming
Mm-hmm.
back from New Year's, we're starting up team weightlifting, off-season programming. So I think just being there for my team and making a like leading impact and leading role early on so that they know they can trust me and that I'm there for them. I think that's what I'm really going to work on this season.
Yeah, that's a great, especially what you're talking about with the senior season, you being the quarterback. Like I said, I've already been checking out your Twitter. You guys are leading your little 5-on-5. You said you're getting the receivers already out there. You guys are in the field. You guys are already working. The team follows that. If they see the quarterback out there calling everybody, hey, what's up? What we got going on this weekend? We're meeting here. We're meeting there. That's going to make them get up and go because they're going to sit there and say, I can't be the one that's not there. Right. All my other guys are there. I can't be the one that's not lacking. So by you leading by example and doing that, that's going to continue to have the whole team follow you like it already has. Because I've already seen your leadership qualities, and they were exhibited all season long. That's why I call you Baby Breeze, and we're going to talk about that later on. But I want to say, talk, kind of, expound upon that last thing we were talking about with film study. Now, you said you improved on the film study. You said it slowed the game down. How did it really improve? Because a lot of people don't really understand that. Some people sit there and look at film and they get tired. This is boring. I ain't gonna keep watching this. It's because it's very time consuming. Like it's very time consuming. You sit there and break down the opponent. Like you really have to love the game to really study film. Because a lot of people just won't do it because it takes a lot of time. So just kind of talk about when you were watching the film. How do you feel like it really slowed the game down for you? What feel like do you get the advantage it really gave you when you were really in that film like that?
So yeah, like you said, it is really time consuming. So I mean, that's why I just kind of did it. Whenever I was bored, it was like, let's just pull
Mm-hmm.
up huddle and watch some film because you
Mm-hmm.
have nothing else to do. Sit in the
Right.
middle of math class, finish all your work. Just like,
Right.
well, rather watch some film. But for me, I think it wasn't so much me watching film, it was our team and me talking to the guys about what we
Got you.
see on film
Mm-hmm.
individually.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's easy to go watch a film. So when I walk up to the line, you have a process. You're like, all right, they cover two. Are they going to go quarters? Can they go one high? They got three. Are they playing man? And then from there, now you're looking at matchups. So you're like, what do we see on film? Who has a good break on the ball? Who doesn't? Who do we want to attack? But for me, then it was like, okay, so what do me and the guys both see that we can both, talk to Wolf about and see that, this guy isn't breaking on Max's out route. So what do? We're going to go throw an out route. So it was just like, it wasn't even big things on film. It was like the little plays. You go watch 150 plays, maybe 4 or 5 of them are going to show you like the huge weakness in them.
Exactly.
And that's what it was. That's what really made it. So as soon as you walked into the line, you were like, okay, I saw this. Let's attack this. This is how we want it. Or, even with like run plays, you're just like, okay, well, do we need to make an audible? Are they all the way on the right? Do we need to call Omaha and go to the left? So it was just like, it wasn't huge things that you see on film. It's like the little things that once in a lifetime they're going to show. And then you just get real lucky in that play and you're like, all right, let's attack it.
And you know what else, Kolter, what's exciting about film study is just like you said, when you come to the line of scrimmage and you've been studying the film and you see the defense that they're calling, you see exactly what they're running. And I don't care any player who played any professional sports, when you come up there and you know what somebody else is doing and they don't know, it's a great feeling to come up to that line of scrimmage and say, oh, I know this play. All right, let's come up.
Like,
Let's come up. You know
like
what I mean? It's
like grin. You're like,
yeah, like, oh yeah, y'all bet you we didn't know this one. We about to get you on this one because we were waiting for you to call this play because now we're going to attack it. And that just, like I said, that shows the maturity, and that's what college coaches love. Obviously, you're a quarterback. Coaches are looking at that. Can this young man who was in high school do this? Can he come in here and be the leader of men with our school? And that's what they're going to be focusing on. But you know what? What's one of the biggest challenges for you coming into this season as your senior season? What's your number one biggest challenge that maybe you have challenged yourself with this year?
The biggest challenge that I challenged myself with is, I want to continue building my leadership, but like the biggest challenge for me that I think our team last year lacked was just like team, like togetherness on our team. I feel like it was a lot of cliques. So this year I'm really trying to like bring our team together as a whole. And I think it's just like, I guess, team chemistry, if you want to put it that way, like build that chemistry and, build that real like brotherhood tradition that that male high school has. Because you've seen it in the past. I mean, we have the talent's
right
there. Like I was saying, it's about putting emphasis on the little things. That's going to make our season this year different than the past 5 where we haven't lost. So I think the biggest challenge for me is to build on my season last year, have a better season, and then go win that state championship and do everything I can to. I'm really challenging myself to just leave it all out on the line. It's my last year. There's no more. Oh, okay, we have one more year. It's
right.
It's the last one. So I'm really challenging myself in the offseason, just do everything that I can so that I know by the end of the year, whatever the outcome is, I know that I put my all into it, and that's enough for me. As long as I know I put my all into it, I can say that I can walk out of my senior year with my head held high and go and continue my opportunity to play football.
Exactly. The biggest thing that you said in that whole statement that you just told me about was you stepping in and kind of getting everybody away from the clicks. That's going to be a huge culture, and I really challenge you to stay with that one, because if you can continue to do that, that's going to make a world of difference for your team. I mean, even when I go into work, I mean, it's the same type of thing. Everybody in work, there's always a little clique. People just like to associate with who they want, but I try to go in and talk with everybody. I try to be cool with everybody. I don't try to just associate with one certain person or anything, because people look at that when I go through the job and, hey, what's up, everybody? And we all cool. They all like that. It brings the everybody, it brings everybody up. It just does. They're gonna be like, yeah, that's my quarterback. Even though they may not talk to you all the time, they're gonna say, that's my quarterback. I love that guy. You know what I mean? Because even when everybody's over here, he ain't always there with them guys. He ain't always just kicking with them guys like they're his favorite receivers or whatever. He comes and talks to all of us like it's the thing. And I'm telling you, Kolter, that it's gonna make a huge difference. So I'm challenging you to stay with that one. If you can continue to do that, I'm telling you, it's gonna make a world of difference in your senior season. So stay with them. That was the most important thing you said to me me, because that's going to be huge going into your senior season. But let's talk about your academics. I mean, you're outstanding in the classroom, obviously, and that's huge. Schools look at that classroom, on field, off field. But kind of tell me what that means to you as an individual, where you're excelling not only on the field but off the field as well.
I just think it's a standard I kind of set for myself at a really, like, I wouldn't say a really young age, but like a young age, I guess.
Hmm.
It's just like, if you want to be the best at something, you can't just be the best at one thing, like you have to be your best. It's not really about, life's not all about being the best, like the greatest football player of all time,
Hmm.
like if
Hmm.
you want to be the best, you have to challenge yourself on and off the field. Because what happens, a lot of the people don't realize when you have like, if you're like, it teaches you things that you can put into football and into life. Football
Hmm.
teaches you things that you can put into the classroom. The classroom teaches you things you can put onto the field. They kind of bounce off of each other.
Right.
Football teaches you drive and determination. You use that in the classroom. The classroom can teach you eloquency. It teaches you discipline, like everything, like little things that, like I said, go overlooked. A lot of time, nobody really realizes is that a lot of things in the classroom help me on the football field. And I think that it goes a long way. One, because, it helps obviously improve my opportunity to go play college football, which is a
Hmm.
dream. So I
Hmm.
think for me, it's really just been a standard where I'm like, okay, well, I need to turn all my work in. you know I need to just be the best I can be and set like a role, like set the leadership role, like set the standard kind of thing, set the line. It's like, if you see me doing it, that means you can do it.
Right.
So just follow it.
Yeah, set the standard. I like that. Use that as your mantra. Set the standard. That'd be a great mantra for you to even be heading in for your guys. Set the standard. Because think about it. When you come in there and you start telling everybody, let's set the standard, right? People gonna follow that. They're gonna listen to that. So if you're saying let's set the standard, you guys have a fantastic year and you guys leave out, you guys leave with that set the standard. That could be a mantra every year down the line of every team. Like, we set the standard here. When you come here and you play, there's a standard that just me set. Classroom, on the field. So we're going to set the standard. So I feel like you're going to continue to lead in that way. You're going to continue to grow in that way, and that's going to be awesome. So before we talk about the Breeze comparison, and if anybody ever calls you Baby Breeze in college or anything, you better tell them Big Game James said that first, and can't nobody else take it. You got it? Because when I looked at Breeze, I remember watching Breeze. I've been watching football for a very long time. I watched Drew Brees when he came into Purdue. Dude, y'all almost got the same measurements, the same measurables, physical, everything. And Breeze didn't have the strongest arm, but dude, he had like, he knew the game. Like, you could tell he studied, but he knew ball placement. He knew where the ball was supposed to go. He knew where his receivers were supposed to go. He was just a step above. You know what I mean? So we're going to talk on that in a few. But let's talk about, what do you have planned for the summer as far as maybe like camps? I've seen a lot of things, I can't name them all, that you got invited to, All-American games. I'm sure you're going to be getting invited to a lot of camps, but, kind of talk about the camp circuit and, what kind of camps you feel like you got getting ready to come up, or maybe some All-American games you maybe still have coming up. Let the people know.
So I'm still like working, building my camp list right now, but
Okay.
there's a lot of camps I'm going to, a lot of junior days,
Okay.
where I think the one I'm going to like next is I'm going to go to Austin P.
Okay.
I can't remember the date on that,
Mm-hmm.
but I know I'm going to go there. And then I think January 16th I'll be, what was it? Miami of Ohio. There you go. Miami,
Okay.
Ohio Juniors Day is the
Oh,
16th. So I'm going to try and get up there. But
yeah, get up there, because you're gonna be out my neck of the woods. I'm in Ohio, so
right.
get up there so I can get all that action.
Yeah.
I got some kids.
So,
I got a couple of my friends play for Miami of Ohio, so just to let you know.
right. So I'll be up there, and then just obviously building on my camp season last year, trying to visit a lot of the same schools or schools that I'm really interested in, and then going to see new schools. We take a vacation down to Florida every summer. And one thing I didn't get to do last year that I really want to do this year is do like a camp down there in Florida. Just to like look at schools, see football programs down there. So that's something really big for me this summer. And then 7-on-7 basically all summer. So it's a busy schedule that you have to kind of balance everything around.
Yes.
But it's just getting as much exposure
Right.
as much as I can going into my senior year, so I have all the eyes on me,
Right.
so that when they're like, okay, well, we like that kid at camp, and then I send in my film, they're like, oh, okay, or they
Right.
come out to the game, they're like, oh, I remember that kid. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's the biggest thing for me this year.
Nice, nice. Well, I know what right now from last year, or since you've been playing, your resume is really nice. But like I said, I want to talk about this Drew Brees comparison. Number one, it struck me when I seen your number 15. That was his number in college as well. I look at the measurables; they are like the same to me, and I was like, this dude is like Baby Brees to me. Um, and I think Drew Brees, when he came into Purdue, I think he was underrated. I think he was under the radar. A lot of people, were kind of underestimating him because he didn't have the quote unquote 6'3", 6'4", 225 pounds, rocket arm, can scramble and throw it on a rope. You know what I mean? Let me ask you this in your opinion. Do you feel like you might be a little underestimated out in them streets in high school? And if you do feel like you're underestimated, does that have a little chip on your shoulder right there, big dog?
I think the answer to that question, yes, I do think I'm a little underestimated. But I think like anybody who has a competitive spirit or a competitive drive, when they put their pads on, they flip into a different gear. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I'm not gonna say you go into your MJ mode, but like everything then is just taken personal,
Yeah.
like the little things with somebody like, people, if you give people a reason to talk trash, they're gonna sit there and they're gonna expose you to it. So
Mm-hmm.
my big thing, anytime I put the helmet or pads on, it's just give them a reason to not say anything. I don't have
Right.
to walk around and sit over there and talk my stuff. I just sit
Mm-hmm.
there, I go throw touchdowns, put numbers up on a scoreboard, and then when they start coming talking, you just point at the scoreboard. You're like,
Right.
you know. So I think for me, I always play with the chip on my shoulder, just
Mm-hmm.
because, not always because I'm underestimated because of my size, just
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a big competitor and I hate
Mm-hmm.
losing, and I know
Mm-hmm.
that the people I play with also hate losing.
Mm-hmm.
So my biggest thing has always been like, plus the chip on your shoulder kind of gives you that little swag,
Yeah.
which when you're playing with swagger, nobody can stop you. Like the
Exactly.
confidence, swagger that comes with it. It's just one thing. Once you play with it, you learn how much it actually can affect you. Like when you play with that confidence and chip on your shoulder, for me, it really helps my game improve, and I see it a ton. So that's just something I really focus on. It's just coming in, it's not always going to be like, oh, I'm 6 foot. The guy I'm playing against is 6'2". I need to go show him I'm better than him. It's just about, oh, okay, he's trying to take my cookies out the cookie jar. I got to stop his hand from getting in there.
Exactly, exactly. And I can feel what you're saying. I mean, I always like playing the underdog role. I personally like the underdog role better. It just gives me
Right.
more fuel to the fire. It just makes something burn in me even more, especially if I feel like anybody is underestimated in any little time. It just like, okay, yeah, that's all I needed. I
Right.
was gonna come in, I was going hard anyway, but then I heard you say that this, and now I said, oh, that's all I needed. Now I'm about to turn all the way up. You know what I'm saying? I just need somebody to say one thing to me and then it's over. I'm going hard the rest of the game. I'm not going to forget what you said all year. I'm that type of person. I don't know if you
Right.
are, but that's what I am. But man, it's been pretty amazing just to watch your run, man, watching you play, watching your team play. Now we were talking about before the season, you guys were up for like most all-time wins in high school. Did you guys
Yeah.
accomplish that? Where's that at right now?
We're like 3 games away. We're like 3 or 4 games
Wow.
away. So we were like, because I mean, I don't know if anybody else knew it, but we've been following it. So
Mm-hmm.
every time, so it's us and Valdosta right now. So I think they got eliminated. They got eliminated early in the playoffs, and
Mm-hmm.
so when we kept going, I was like, oh wow, we might have a little chance. But we weren't playing in enough games to have beaten them
Right.
last year. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
if we get the state championship, we're like two maybe 3 games away, which is like okay. But now, so we're like, I think we're 3 games away this year, which is, I mean,
Man.
we're right there.
Oh, and I'm know you like I'm here. I want to get it when I'm here. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
I don't want you. Hey, I'm not being selfish, but I want it when I'm here.
right,
Now, as soon as
exactly,
I graduate, then
right.
hey, guess what, Culture? We just got it. I don't care if you just got it. So I could feel that, man. But hey, we're going to head off of here, man. I appreciate everything. I appreciate you jumping on, answering these fire questions. We're going to play your junior tape again on my channel again, so everybody can see you once again. I made a nice little highlight tape of you earlier already, but I'm going to put everything together. If you can, give me your full stats for your junior season so I can post those on my channel so people can continue to know about you and see where you rep from. But one last thing, do you have any shout outs to anybody, any thank yous for this season, whoever it may be, friends, family, coaches, whatever? Give some shout outs to anybody before you head off here.
All right. First, I want to shout out to our 707 team, 50277. If you don't know us, I'm sure you'll be hearing about us a lot this year. I want to give a shout out to coaches, all of our teammates who, when we start up this off-season program, we can give it their all, and I'll be there with them giving it our all. So I want to give a shout out to the male high school football team, our O-line, our receivers, our defensive backs, linebackers, D-line, everybody, special teams. Everybody plays a role. I want to give a shout out to I want to give a shout out to a kid who I think really, has really done something really good this year. So he's on our 7-on-7 team, but he plays at Fern Creek. His name is Landon Edwards. Landon Edwards. We went out and practiced yesterday. He's a baller. And I think, you play at Fern Creek, so he just kind of goes underlooked a little bit, but man, he's a baller. He was out there yesterday. He was talking his stuff. So he's on our
Does he play receiver?
He plays everything. He's an athlete.
Okay.
Quarterback, receiver, defensive back, just everything. But yeah, I want to give a huge shout out to him because he pushes me every day. Like when we go out and work, he's the one person who anytime I text, I know he'll be there. Or he's texting me, "Hey, you want to go get work?" And it's like every time, it's always going to be Lando, who you can trust. He'll push you to be the best that you can be, and then just talk your stuff and bitter back with him.
I like that. I like that. Well, make sure you hit him up and tell him to unfollow me. I'll follow him back and let's see if we can get him on here so he doesn't be so daggone unknown. Let's try to make him known a little bit out in these streets. Feel me?
Right. Yes, sir.
And give your parents shout outs.
Oh, yeah. I want to give a shout out to my parents, my mom and dad, just being my biggest role models,
Yeah.
My biggest supporters.
Yeah, I know Pops be there. I know Mama Pops be there. You better get them shout outs because they go hard in the paint for you. Feel me? We love them over there, and we thank you for everything they've done. And once again, they've done an excellent job, Kolter, raising you. You're a fine young man as far as what your goals, your leadership, everything. You got anything you want to say?
Yeah, I gotta get one more. Okay. To our Mama Dogs team. They are like the missing piece to the puzzle. Without them, I don't know. They do our team meals. They're like some of our biggest supporters. So I'd say our Mama Dogs are definitely, they're everything that goes on behind the scenes is them. So I want to give a huge shout out to them.
Definitely a huge shout out to them, especially for meals and things of that nature. A lot of things that we all automatically take for granted. Those are the things that are already prepared for us. And those are the things that you just never mention because it's automatic for you. So big shout outs for you saying that because yes, they do. A lot of people don't appreciate their work because it's so behind the scenes and they do it so well. You never just talk about it because it's always automatic, but that should just tell you how good it is because you never talk about it because it's so automatic. So yes, big time shout outs to them as well. And I just want to tell you, man, you've done an excellent job. You had a great junior season. I can't wait to see you your senior season. I have nothing but blessings for you. Let's get that scholarship that you want, the school that you want. Let's make everything happen. And we're going to interview again because this ain't over yet. So we're definitely going to do some more interviews, but get out there. I know you're going to probably be out there, Philly. If it's nice today, you're probably going to be out there spinning the football like you do. So ain't nobody mad at that. Get better, continue to grow, and we're going to be talking to you guys soon. So for myself, Big Game James, my dog Kolter Smith out of Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville Mel. You'll be seeing more about him. Big Game James,